What does it mean to be black at MiraCosta?
It means to not really be sure what to say. It means to, when coming in last year as a freshman, to automatically be put into lower division English classes, but also have taken AP in high school. It means to not know where you stand on campus when it comes to administration, but also be welcomed by so many of these different programs, such as UMOJA, as well as the other ACE programs, the Honors Lounge, the Honors staff in general. It also means to be the only representation in ASG. That's what I have.
What does it mean to be black at MiraCosta? Well, it's my first year, my second semester at MiraCosta. I'm a freshman, but mostly we get a lot of support. As a black student, I get a lot of support from the black faculty and staff. Quite recently, I take part in the UMOJA group on campus, and quite recently we had the opportunity to go to Oakland to partake in the UMOJA conference, the statewide conference. And I just got to talk to a lot of other black students from other community colleges to see their experiences of being black students on their campus. And quite honestly, it's kind of the same. We get a lot of support from the black faculty. We get a lot of opportunities as black students on the campus because of the black faculty and staff.
What does it mean to be black at MiraCosta?
To me, being black, it's mostly about being beautiful and unique in your own way. And with being unique, there's leadership that comes in as well. Whether it's at or with the UMOJA organization we have here, or just being with fellow people and understanding yourself.
A lot of times in the classroom, or even when I have to go like conferences or spaces for being a staff member, sometimes I'm the only black person there. Sometimes I'm the only person that looks like me there. I'm the only one that understands more of my experiences because I'm the only one there. And part of it, there's a little bit of imposter syndrome once in a while, but at the same time acknowledge it, and I just say, you know what, it's okay, I'm here, I exist.
To thrive, to succeed with probably low expectations on campus, and just with all those barriers against you, just to push through. That's what it means to be black, well, at least for me, to be black at MiraCosta.
What does it mean to be black at MiraCosta?
For me, I would say it's a humbling experience to be one of the few African Americans here on campus that students can maybe look to and identify with. Because I remember during my educational experiences, there weren't too many faculty or staff that looked like me, and so when I could find those ones across campus, it was very valuable to have those relationships. So I hope that by me being new here to the campus, that not only am I supporting students with their basic needs, but I'm supporting them in being a face of representation for them here on this campus. So it makes me proud.
I thrive at MiraCosta by showing up every day, and how I found my sense of community was to find those that look like me, where we can relate, have conversations, and just putting myself into conversation, becoming more social, and yeah.
What does it mean to be black at MiraCosta?
To be black in MiraCosta, I think, is to help others who feel like they're alone or feel some type of way. Because, for instance, for me, I remember when I was in a classroom and there was not that many black students, I felt sort of alone, and I felt like I didn't belong in that class based off, like, I think the teacher asked a question where he wanted us to describe what the picture looked like. And I basically said, you know, it was just a man with a plate and it looked like he had some bread and he was eating or something. And then another kid who wasn't black who answered the question, he actually answered it sort of right, but it's not like whether it's right or wrong, it's just basically how you see the picture. But the way he answered it sort of made me feel like, okay, well, damn, was my question, like, I mean, was my answer kind of dumb? Like, I felt sort of like, okay, should I be in this class? Like, is this English class really, like, made for me or whatever? I don't know if that makes any sense, but I just felt like I didn't belong in that class. And just when no black person around, I felt like I had nobody to hang out with. I had nobody to talk to. So I feel like black students here at MiraCosta sometimes feel that way. And we have spaces like that, like a Moja or the club room to go to, so that they can talk to other black people as well. But to be black in MiraCosta, I don't really know. I think it's cool to be at MiraCosta, but I do hear things that are going around, but I don't know. So yeah.
What does it mean to be black at MiraCosta?
Well, for me, I'm conflicted. MiraCosta is the place where I got my start, my rooting in education, and it has changed my life drastically. I'm an Oceanside native, and coming to MiraCosta saved my life. However, when I see students now that came after me, I'm an alumni, I graduated in 2011. When I see students that come after me, I don't see the connection, the support from administrator or from faculty that I feel like they need to be able to connect with them culturally. And so for me, it's conflicting because, like I said, I love my job. I work here. I'm happy here. I love supporting students. But then I also am conflicted because I want more for our black students.
What does it mean to be black at MiraCosta?
For me, what it means is to really just be comfortable in your own skin. Because coming from a background of having a mix of both black, white, and Mexican from both my mom and my dad, is that it's always been this kind of struggle for me to finding out who I really am. And the important thing is that I'm just myself. It's like I'm kind of a little bit of everything, but mainly the positives of each side of me.
When I was younger, or when I first started college, I was really confident in who I am and really independent, but getting started and getting into classes, and when we're talking about being black at MiraCosta, I felt invisible. Like I couldn't have a voice in class, or I was always restricted. And not building a community with the black resources that are offered held me back from growing, and being confident in who I am when I first started backfired and probably played into me being invisible.
What does it mean to be black at MiraCosta?
Well, for me, it means that I have to lead by example. It reminds me that people are looking, to see if we are rising up to their expectation. It means that I have to work 2 to 3 times harder to accomplish the things that my counterparts accomplish. It means that I work hard at making sure that our students' voices are heard, and that I'm always reflecting on my own experiences to help students just achieve their greatness.
Beating out the stereotypes of being a black person. So that means I'm a college student and I'm getting A's, my degree, and transferring to a top Ivy League school.
What does it mean to be black at MiraCosta?
Surprisingly, that's a big question, because I immediately flashed back to when I first started here 13 years ago, and there weren't many black faculty, certainly no administrators on campus, and having the honor of running the Emoja program, one of the things I've learned over the years is to see kind of my experience through students' experience, and the challenges that they're having, sometimes finding out things in the middle of the semester or after the semester has ended, things that impacted them during the semester, meant that their experience was somewhat diminished. And so part of what we hope to do through our program is to allow our students to, and provide opportunity for our students to experience MiraCosta in a better way, and come to support each other in a big way as well.
Here, I've experienced isolation, usually when I'm in the upper division classes. I haven't really made any friends. I've tried, but I can't make it to all the events because I'm a mom, and a lot of the classes that I've taken, I've had to write a different way than how I speak. So I've had some difficulties in the English class and also in the American history class, which I was the only black student in. And every time he had in my U.S. history class, he had a current event that we had to talk about in the mornings. And whenever I would say something about something that was happening in my culture, I would see people roll their eyes, and it would be like, oh, she's on her soapbox again. So it was just really hard for me in the upper division classes. But I'm really happy about Emoja. I'm happy to be here. I feel like there is community. I've had some help with when I was having financial difficulties. I was able to talk to Don here, and he was able to help me. But it can be isolating here. It's good to be connected in the community because you will be the only one in your class sometimes.
What does it mean to be black at MiraCosta?
To be a black student at MiraCosta College is, I think, something like an uphill battle constantly. We're always trying to strive to do more for ourselves with the backing of staff and faculty. And we always have a lot of help, but at the same time, it always seems like we need more. If you're a person who goes to school and, you just go straight home afterwards, that's fine. You get your education that way. But if you're someone like me who's always here and trying to utilize what we have to offer at MiraCosta, you always want more. You're always craving more. So I think that it's always, it's an uphill battle.
I do see the differences when people learn who I am and what I look like versus when I'm just talking to them on the phone, or I'm doing an email, or I'm in the classroom. So I do have a lot of different experiences from both sides, but I think it's good to know that as a staff and student, I am going to be treated differently.
When I think about being black on this campus, I think about being Ralph Ellison, being invisible and yet visible both at the same time. I think about that every time people hear me, they hear my passion as anger, they hear my anger as a threat, and so then as my voice gets louder and louder, my threat level becomes more and more, and people shut down from a conversation that I'm just trying to have. And so when I think about being black on this campus, it's not just being black, it's just being me. It's like I'm not trying to be anything, I'm just trying to be me, and yet I feel in a lot of spaces on this campus that like this equity work or something like that is just expected from me.
Well, for me, I feel like I'm representing my community, I'm representing MiraCosta, and I know that there's people that I can count on, and without even having to be in a certain career or have a certain job, there's people on campus that are there for me, and people that empower me, and I'm really inspired by the people of color that have succeeded through MiraCosta, and that's something that I'm trying to represent.
What does it mean to be black at MiraCosta?
Well, Wendy, thank you for asking that question. For me, in my position, it means that I have an extra added responsibility. I have a responsibility to my community. My responsibility to my community is to edify and build them up. Because I know the things that I experience on a day-to-day, not only here at MiraCosta, but in other arenas as well, what I go through. So I can imagine what our students go through. And studies show that it takes 10 to 12 kind words to erase one message of criticism. So whenever I see anyone from my community, I try to make sure that I love on them the best way that I can. I love on them with a smile, with a kind word, with a hug. So for me, being black at MiraCosta, it means I have an extra responsibility.
So I think for me it's very interesting because I'm an alumni, and when I was here I was the president of Black Student Union, and I was heavily involved in Umoja, and now my position has changed. I'm staff member, and so I'm still heavily involved, with Black students on campus. And so for me it's difficult when I see that they're going through things, when there's instances that happen on campus and they need support and they need this community to surround them and just show them love. And then a lot of it is just like, well, what can we do? How can we support in a tangible way that actually changes the culture of the campus? And so I think that's something that's always heavy on my heart. That's like, we have this support, Umoja community, Black Student Union, but how do we extend that out past just those two, groups, and how do we extend that to the whole entire campus?
When I conceptualize what it's like to be Black on this campus, I think a lot of what comes in my head is, this feeling of being underestimated, this feeling of being undervalued, over-targeted, and in the perspective of always having to adjust to being targeted, always having to adjust to people not appreciating what you bring to spaces, and it becomes this overbearing weight of like, am I enough? Am I too much? Am I too loud? Am I too Black? And at the end of the day, I have to go home with that feeling of I'm still Black, I'm still me, I'm still proud, even in spaces where that's not reinforced. So to be Black in this space is to be fearful and hopeful in the same time.
What does it mean to be Black in MiraCosta? Being able to experience the whole, not only just the college experience, but be able to be yourself. And I think that's some of the things that are lacking, is to have that full experience as a Black person. Sure, we might see like a few staff and a few administrators, but it's not enough. Especially in the ones that we do have, you don't really feel that full-on support that you expect when you first come to a campus. Sure, there are things that benefit us the most, but it's still some things that are lacking. Especially when those people decide to move on, we need more people to be able to come in and continue on that work, because it doesn't just stop with one generation, it continues on to another generation, and so on and so on. And so consistency is very important.
I think that being Black in MiraCosta kind of encompasses a lot of different things. I think from the community that we've established and like taken a lot of effort to establish, I feel like that is strong and continues to grow stronger. There's definitely ways in which we're trying to kind of improve that sense of community, but it's definitely there. But I also think sometimes it means having that community be confined to certain people and certain spaces. It's not necessarily something that we have access to all over the campus and access to from everyone around us, whether it be our classmates, whether it be our instructors, whether within that Umoja community or within the Black community or outside of it. So I think bridging that gap of community where there's a link between the Black Umoja MiraCosta community and the greater MiraCosta community, I think that's something that I would like to see happen more.